utter shutdown or lack of communication at all. You just there, muko tu, hamuongei, you operate like you're strangers. There's no talking, there's no communication at all. That is another red flag that you are in an abusive relationship. Because in a normal relationship, people should talk. That's how you got in a relationship in the first place. You talked, okay? He talked to you, you talked back. She talked to you, you talked back. You responded, you had an exchange of words, you liked each other. And a normal relationship should have communication going. And not all communication will end up in agreement. Sometimes you will agree to disagree, but it is a communication at the end of the day. When there is utter shutdown, no communication at all, that is a red flag that maybe you could be in an emotional, abusive relationship. Now, hi people, welcome back to my new channel, Talk with Ronji. And today about this channel, we're going to have discussions on matters that affect us as human beings, as women, and we are going to diverge into a lot of topics that we go through, experiences that we have day to day, okay? And to put out a disclaimer, I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not an expert in matters relationship. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor of some sort. I'm here to give my opinion, and I'm here to receive your opinion as well. I don't have answers to any of your questions. I have what we call opinions, all right? They might be correct, they might not be correct, but we are here to discuss them. We are here to exchange and learn from each other. And so it's my pleasure to welcome you to my new channel, Talk to Ronji. And to set us off on our first episode, there's a question that we need to address this evening. Someone is asking, how do you know you are in an abusive relationship? Now, when it comes to abuse, we've had stories that have not ended well for a lot of people who are suffering abuse, whether it is physical abuse, whether it is emotional, whether it is mental, spiritual. We've had instances where people's lives have been lost due to abuse. And sometimes you do not know that you're going through abuse yourself. And so, what are those things that will make you know, will open your eyes to knowing that you are going through some abuse in a relationship? Okay? I would cluster them into two groups. Number one, mental or rather emotional abuse. Number two, physical abuse. Now, let us start with emotional abuse. Number one red flag that you are going through emotional abuse in a relationship is fear of self-expression. When you find yourself in a situation whereby you cannot say what you want to say, you cannot express how you feel, you cannot communicate your feelings freely to your partner, then there's probably a possibility that you're going through an abuse emotionally. Number two, utter shutdown or lack of communication at all. You just there, muko tu, hamuongei, you pass each other like strangers in the house, you operate like you're strangers. There's no talking, there's no communication at all. That is another red flag that you are in an abusive relationship. Because in a normal relationship, people should talk. That's how you got in a relationship in the first place. You talked, okay? He talked to you, you talked back. She talked to you, you talked back. You responded, you had an exchange of words, you liked each other. And a normal relationship should have communication going. And not all communication will end up in agreement. Sometimes you will agree to disagree, but it is a communication at the end of the day. When there is utter shutdown, no communication at all, that is a red flag that maybe you could be in an emotional, abusive relationship. Number three, low sex drive. Now, in a normal relationship where there is a man and there is a woman, we expect that you are exchanging sex. That sex is a normal thing to talk about, to occur, to experience, to be enjoyed in a normal relationship. If you're not having any of that, there's a problem and there's a possibility that your emotions are pulled away from each other and you could be undergoing some emotional breakdown or emotional abuse in that relationship, okay? When there is no desire to have sex, that should be looked up to because a lot of things causes low sex drive, including stress, including depression, and so you need to call for help, you need to ask for help. Things are not okay, and probably you are going through emotional abuse, okay? Another thing is low self-esteem. You're thinking so less about yourself. You've been made to feel you're worthless. You don't see any worth in you. You don't see your confidence is all gone. You used to be a pretty girl. You used to have a lot of talents to share out here. You used to be a person with, good personality, talkative, and all that disappears in a moment and you know something is off. Okay? And when your personality starts to change, it means you are not being yourself. You are not living up to who you are. And that could be a red flag as to why, or that could be a red flag that you are going through an emotional abuse. Now, when we talk about physical abuse, there are a number of things that will happen and will let you know you might be going through physical abuse. Number one is fear of loss of life. If you're constantly fighting, if you're constantly battering each other or you're being battered, unapigwa kila siku, it may not be kila siku, but every now and then, mukiwa na ugomvi kidogo, it ends up into physical fight. You getting thrown into places, you getting knocked out. Today you have a black eye. Tomorrow you have, a teeth knocked out. fear of loss of life, that means you are undergoing physical abuse and you have to seek help as soon as possible, because if you're fearing for your own life, that is no place for you to be, okay? That is not a place I would want you to dwell on, and so you need to call in for help. Another thing about physical abuse is that you have suicidal thoughts. There are people who sit like this and they're thinking, why am I living? What is the essence of living? What is my importance in this life? I'd rather, and when you start having those thoughts, when you start harboring, when you find yourself sitting quietly in a place and thinking, why am I still alive? It would have been better for me if I wasn't here. When those thoughts come creeping in, it's time for you to call for help, because you start by thinking, and the next thing we know, you are acting upon your thoughts. And so when you're having those suicidal thoughts, or you have a friend who's going through something and they are mentioning it casually, don't take it as casually as they're mentioning it. Take it serious. Find them help, because that is a red flag that shows they are going through physical abuse in their relationship, and it's nothing to joke about, because it starts with a thought and then the action follows, and then what we have is, a sad situation. We have a terrible and unfortunate event happening. And so when you find yourself having suicidal thoughts, when you find your friends having and talking about it casually, take it seriously. They need help. Another thing that will show you that you are in abusive relationship physically is feelings of unworthiness. You're just there. Like we said, self-esteem. It happens also physically. You don't care about yourself anymore. You don't find that there is anything for you to think about, for you to take care of physically about yourself. Ile yenye wanasema kujiachilia, you're just there. You don't feel excited about taking care of yourself, even physically. You are not motivated to do something for yourself. You are tired all the time. Your body cannot bring itself to functioning the way it should be. It means you're going through a lot even physically in that relationship, and you need to seek help. That is nothing to take for granted. You need to seek help. You need to find help as soon as possible. Again, no sex drive. When you're being fought, when you're being, you find yourself detached, not attracted anymore to your partner, it could be because there is some physical things that are going on that are making you to be afraid of engaging even in matters sex. Now, I don't know what your situation is. Talk to me. Have you gone through the following that is mentioned? Are you in a relationship that's giving a bit of abusive symptoms? Reach out to us. Let's share them. Let's talk about them. Have you been in such kind of relationship that you had to endure, some sort of abuse? How did you rescue yourself out of it? How are you doing today? What helped you come out of it? Talk to us so that we may share with our listeners, and it might help somebody to, recollect themselves, realize themselves, and do better for themselves. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope to see you in the next episode. If you have a question, if you have a commentary, leave it in the comment section. And until we meet again, God bless you.